When we watch the world's biggest games, we see the bright lights, the incredible goals, the high-stakes drama on the field. But there's another game happening, one that's played just out of sight. It's a shadow game of intelligence, of espionage. And most of the time, that's where it stays, in the shadows. But what happens when it all gets dragged out into the open?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? How could a single drone, just one little piece of technology, bring a whole national program to its knees? It honestly sounds like a script from a spy thriller, but for one of the world's top teams, this became a brutal, devastating reality.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll dive into what this shadow game in soccer is all about. Then we'll get right into the heart of the story, the Canadian collapse. After that, we'll take a step back and look at the long, kind of wild history of spying in the sport, figure out why this scandal was such a massive game changer, and finally, explore the new era of accountability that's changing everything.
Okay, so first up, soccer's shadow game. To really get what happened, you have to understand the culture we're talking about. Look, teams trying to get a peek at their opponents, that's as old as the sport itself. But modern tech has just completely changed the rules of engagement. It's drawn a very, very thin line between what's considered smart scouting and what's flat-out illegal spying.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. The pressure to win in international soccer is absolutely immense. And that win-at-all-costs mindset has totally transformed the role of team analysts. They aren't just guys watching old game tapes anymore. No, they've basically become intelligence officers fighting a secret information war.
Which brings us to the main event, the 2024 Paris Olympics. This was supposed to be a stage for glory, but instead, it became the place where one team's entire intelligence operation was pulled out of the shadows and just completely dismantled, piece by painful piece, for the entire world to see.
And the whole thing collapsed incredibly fast. I mean, it was dizzying. First, a drone gets spotted hovering over New Zealand's private practice. Then boom, the French police are involved. They detain Canadian team analysts, and crucially, they seize their official team-issued laptops and phones. From there, forensic teams find everything, a clear digital paper trail proving it all. And the result? Just massive sanctions from FIFA. A 6-point deduction, which basically torpedoed their chances, huge fines, and a bunch of high-level staff getting fired.
So this brings us to a really key idea, plausible deniability. For years, this has been the get-out-of-jail-free card for teams. Some freelancer or a fan gets caught filming, and the team just throws their hands up and says, hey, we had no idea who that was. It creates a buffer, a shield. And what you need to understand about the Canadian scandal is that this shield, it wasn't just dented, it was completely obliterated.
Now, let's be real for a second. Canada was hardly the first team accused of playing dirty. This kind of stuff has been going on for a long, long time. But when you look at some of these past incidents, it really throws into sharp relief just why the Canadian case became such a historic moment.
Just take a look at these two examples. Back in 2017, Honduras spots a drone over their practice. They blame Australia. The Aussies say, wasn't us. And with no hard proof connecting the drone to their staff, nothing happened. Case closed. Now fast forward to 2022. A contractor working for Canada gets caught filming Panama. That was handled pretty quietly at the time, but it became a crucial piece of the puzzle later on, proving that this wasn't just a one-off mistake, it was a pattern.
And then you have the really extreme end of the scale. Qatar's Project Merciless. I mean, this was a whole other level. This wasn't about stealing set-piece plays for one match. We're talking about a state-sponsored operation using actual former intelligence agents to conduct geopolitical espionage inside FIFA. It just goes to show you, soccer surveillance runs the gamut from a simple drone to complex global spy operations.
So after seeing all these other cases where teams basically got away with it, you have to ask, what made the Canadian scandal so different? Why did it lead to a complete and total implosion when the others just kind of vanished? Well, it really all came down to one thing, the proof.
This table just lays it out perfectly. Look at Australia/Honduras. Plausible deniability meant no sanctions. Qatar was so high level it was handled internally. But then you get to Canada. The evidence wasn't just a blurry video of a drone. It was the actual seized devices, text messages, and even admissions from staff. The key factor was direct, provable involvement of official team personnel. And that right there is why the punishment was so public and so incredibly severe.
So ultimately, Canada made 3 fatal errors. First, they centralized everything. They had their own official staff running the drones, which just wiped out any possible deniability. Second, they left a massive digital trail. Footage, texts, emails,
all on work-issued devices. It's like they handed the investigators a signed confession. And third, people on the inside admitted this was a widespread practice, which proved it wasn't just one rogue employee. It was institutional. They basically built the entire case against themselves.
And the fallout from this wasn't just about one team getting punished. Oh no. It fundamentally rewrote the rules for the shadow game. It kicked off a brand new era of accountability in international sports, and there's no going back.
So what's the lesson for every other team out there? Well, the new playbook is pretty clear. First, you have to lock down your tech. Treat every team laptop and phone like a high-risk asset. Second, you have to decentralize. Use professional, third-party contractors with ironclad contracts, creating a firewall between them and you. Third, you need to build a culture where your own staff feels safe reporting shady stuff. And finally, the governing bodies themselves have to step up with clear, enforceable rules. This is the new reality.
When you boil it all down, the takeaway is pretty blunt. That tiny little tactical edge you might get from spying, it is just not worth the massive existential risk of getting caught. In today's world, the risk now completely outweighs the reward. The math has permanently changed.
Which leaves every team in every sport with one final lingering question to ask themselves. In this new era of total digital transparency, is any secret advantage really worth risking total destruction? And hey, if you found this deep dive as fascinating as we did, and you want to explore more topics like this, we're really excited to announce that we've just launched our new website, www.samiel.inc. You'll find all the content from these explainers there, plus a ton of other resources, like tailor-made reports and documents you can plug right into your own projects. You can also find us on all the major podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, you name it. Thanks so much for watching.